Hey, peace, world. Thanks for pressing play on another Morning Wood here on the Pay Me No Mind Sports and Entertainment YouTube channel. I'm the man here, Wood. I make it all buzz and do what it do. Um, Man, it's kind of a off fight week in light of the injury, the ankle injury to Tony Harrison up in Detroit. And this weekend's PBC card, what is that on Fox? Is looks a little less. It's less big time. It's less. It's less. Suspense and it's less ramifications to the remainder of the boxing calendar. Obviously, depending on the outcome of the fight that was coming, we could have went in a couple of different directions at super welterweight. But now Charlo is fighting Jorge Cota. It's kind of just a win and a win and go home fight. Protect yourself and make sure that you're around for you don't want to trip up over this guy and fall further down the mountain. And we just saw what happened with Anthony Joshua with the late replacement. So it's kind of just stay safe, box. If the knockout comes, then get it. But just play it safe and look good, look sharp, be prepared for everything, and win and move on. Chris Colbert, rising lightweight, is on this one against Alberto Mercado. Guillermo Rigondeaux. I believe this is an eliminator bout. Was the last that I saw for super bantamweight. Cowboy Ryan Carl, had a chance to talk to him up in Flint on a Darrell card last year, but he's back in action now at 16-2, undefeated. Ledawan Barthelemy, he's on the card. Joey Spencer, I think he's in between Michigan and California or something or whatever. Fighting Akeem Black, I'm not familiar with him, but he does have a winning record. He's 5-2. And then it's just a bunch of other names on here. So I'll watch that. I'll check in with it. It's a Sunday night fight, but I'll check it out. It's out in Vegas. And, I guess in some ways, salute to, Jermell Charlo for holding on to the date and going and riding this thing out. And, holding on to the date and fighting. And Cota is the one that was knocked out by Lubinson, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, 28-3, 25 knockouts. Let me make sure. Yeah. Third round or something? So anyway, tonight, boxing has to kind of take a big one fight out there this weekend. Friday night on DAZN, the rematch between Cancio and Machado is a bit interesting, and I'm going to look at it through this lens right here. It's a lot of thoughts from a lot of sources about what Anthony Joshua should do in terms of this rematch with Andy the Destroyer Ruiz Jr., and that it shouldn't be immediate. I am hearing some stuff. I don't rock with Snapchat. I have zero interest in having another app on my phone. But from what I'm understanding, I've heard from a couple different sources at this point that based on what they see Anthony Joshua doing on Snapchat, they have zero confidence in him changing the outcome of the rematch. So I'm not, like I said, I don't rock with Snapchat. I'm not about to go put Snapchat on my phone just to go check in on that brother over there. That's his thing. And maybe this makes my whole next point null and valid, but or invalidates my point. But null and void was what I was looking for. But yeah, going into this rematch, here's another situation. I know you could say, Wood, these are completely different fights in terms of the magnitude, whatever. I get it. I understand it. But I'm just saying, Machado was a guy who was supposed to easily deal with Cancio a couple months ago out in Indio. And Machado got the knockdown in the first round, maybe second round, got a knockdown against Cancio, and it looked like a guy, who works a full-time job and has had a couple setbacks in his career. It looks like it was going to be a quick and easy night. Well, Cancio turns it around and drops Machado twice, 2 or 3 times, and gets the knockout, I want to say, by the 4th round. And now Machado comes back tomorrow night for the rematch. And I'm just saying, I made a video about this already, but as a boxer, man, you don't, in the business, you just don't get to enter the ring and accept a lot of these challenges on your own terms or when people would normally do it. I mean, boxing is not normal. Like, you get hurt, you don't take a knee. You don't walk away from the fire. You walk towards the fire. I mean, boxing is the reverse, of everything that we know. So in my opinion, despite Bob Arum, I think Frank Warren has said some things. Amir Khan, I think, has spoken up. Tons of people have said, he should go do something else. But again, if it's always been about belts for Anthony Joshua, then you should go right back to these belts. And, like I said in the other video, just because you go face somebody else, I mean, if the book is out on Anthony Joshua, just because you go fight some top 50 guy, that doesn't mean that he didn't read that same book. And you get guys in there that are 235 and up, 260-pound guys, they catch you the right way and press that button. It's a chance that you could go down and be out. So it's not like you just go and face a couple of cans and get yourself together and risk getting put out by, some, for lack of a better word, a bum or, some journeyman. Because that journeyman is going to check out the same book. So you might as well go and do it now. You mess around, you let Ruiz get out here, get a couple, try to attempt to get some defenses in. He goes out and has a bad night. The belts get to somebody else or whatever. Like I said, there's no safe place for Anthony Joshua at this point. The safest place is having this rematch and living with the outcome of that fight. But like I said, back to Machado and Cancio, there was discussions about Machado didn't feel comfortable at the weight. Making his weight anymore. He is tall for that division. And, maybe that led to him looking as poorly as he did that night. And like I said, there's some parallels here with Machado getting a knockdown, AJ getting that knockdown in the 3rd round, and then the way that both of those guys looked in being stopped. Now, Machado had some issues going on with him. And then, AJ had what he had going on in his fight against Ruiz. So, I know they are extremely different fights. A lot more is definitely on the line for AJ in his situation. But I'm looking at this fight tomorrow night, just to see is how I connect the dots and how I follow the sport. Obviously, tonight is draft night, man. It's a bunch of young men who are getting ready to become millionaires. The first 3 picks are kind of consensus picks with my man Zion going to to the Pelicans, with Ja Morant going to the Memphis Grizzlies, with Conley moving on to Utah. And then 3rd, supposed to be R.J. Barrett going to the Knicks. And then I'm seeing a little bit of everything with DeAndre Hunter being out there. Looking at CBSSports.com, their draft, they have that guard from Vanderbilt, Darius Garland. They have Cam Reddish going at pick 5 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jared Culver is in there to the Suns, and then Kobe White out of Carolina, a freshman going to the Bulls. I like that pick actually, although I wish my Pistons could get Kobe White. DeAndre Hunter again is here Anyway, on one of the lists I was looking at, Nasir Little was a guy who was looked at by the peg that's going to the Pistons. And I'd have been kind of happy with that. Although I think he's a bit of a late starter in basketball, organized basketball, Nasir Little, but has good height on him. But he's just been up and down and only shown flashes. And then at North Carolina, he wasn't a starter and came on towards the end of the season and in the tournament and had some good appearances or some flashes. And he's only 6'6", 224. I was a lot better when he was listed as 6'8". I thought at North Carolina he was a 6'8", 6'9" guy. So here it is now, a small forward at 6'6". I don't know. But anyway, I'm just interested to see, man, who's happy about what. I don't watch as much college basketball as I used to. I don't know a lot of these guys. I do see a couple of Gonzaga guys in here in the top 15 with the Hachimura cat, and then what was his name, PJ or Brandon Clark. PJ Washington is a guy out of Kentucky, a sophomore, 6'8". I wouldn't mind him, to be honest with you, if he drops down to 15. But I think he could be an interesting asset based on his all-around game and good height. He's another one of those guys who played a lot in the post, played with his back to the basket a little bit in college. But now you come over to the pros and, his height, I thought he was a guy that was 6'9" or 6'10". He's only 6'8", so yeah, he will be out on the wing. He might need to work on his ball handling a little bit, but shot 42.3% from behind the arc as a freshman, or as a sophomore, I'm sorry. So I like what I see in P.J. Washington. One thing on here, and I'm getting ready to wrap this up, but CBS Sports, they actually have Romeo Langford out of Indiana as the guy that the Pistons are going to take. I was looking just a minute ago at SI.com. They had Nasir Little. I've been watching some Pistons forums, and a lot of people were high on Bol Bol. Being out just outside of that. And then the Pistons did come back. They got rid of Allura, and come back into the first round, at the end of the first round, to get that 30th pick. Who from Minnesota? I think it was Minnesota was the trade partner. So, again, one thing I've been harping on with the Pistons, they've been having these later picks in the first round. Here we are again, and here's Grant Williams at pick 18 going to the Pacers. But they have him at power forward at 6'7". I'd almost be more happier with him than Nasir Little. Now Little is a freshman, Grant Williams is a junior, but and Grant Williams might be one of the out of Tennessee, the Volunteers. I don't know. It's so difficult to sift through these guys and figure out who's going to work out, who's not. The fact is, anybody picking outside of that top 10, outside of that top 5 or 7, it's just extremely difficult, and it's almost senseless to be optimistic about bringing in a piece that can contribute next year. And that's kind of where the Pistons are. They need somebody who can come in and start. And being at 15 is a challenge. I see Bol Bol at the 20th pick on CBSSports.com, 7'2", 208 pounds. Out of Oregon. The thing is, he did average 21 points a game, 9 rebounds, shot over 50% from the 3. So, like I said, I can see Bol Bol being a good prospect. But he's a guy who probably doesn't contribute for 2 or 3 years, maybe. That's a tough one, man. Kevin Porter Jr. is another name that I see out here a lot, out of USC, 6'6" freshman, shooting guard. Only averaged 9.5 points per game, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, shot over 40% from three. Uh, he's a second ranked shooting guard in this draft, 15th ranked prospect. They got him going. CBS Sports has him going to the OKC Thunder. He's another interesting guy. So there's some pieces out there for my Pistons. I don't know what your squad is looking at, who your squad is looking at, how excited you are, depending on where you fall in this thing, where your team's pick falls. It seems like it's some good pieces, man. But again, how many of these guys can actually come in and contribute next year? I thought DeAndre Hunter was a junior. He's only a sophomore. Okay, so that's cool for him. Jared Culver, like I said, at pick 6, possibly going to the Suns in this mock draft. He was a guy that he didn't really shine a whole lot to me in the big dance as they made it to the finals. Hell, didn't they win it? That's how bad my memory is with everything that I watch. Texas Tech. But Virginia won it. Virginia, I'm sorry. Memory, man. But anyway, that's it, man. The draft tonight. I might even come back and do a little recap video later on tonight, or a reaction video after the top 10, or maybe after the lottery. I don't know. But that's all I really had to chat about today. On the entertainment note, man, I was able to finish up watching season 1 of Paramount Network's Yellowstone with Kevin Costner. I really enjoyed the series. A little disappointed that the first season was only 9 episodes deep. But if you're catching on to it late, it's cool because last night was the premiere of season 2 on Paramount. I don't know if you have that station, but it's a number of different ways to get to it. But it is a very solid. Cole Hauser is also in it. I don't know if you know the other big names. It's an interesting story about a family out in Wyoming, I believe. Montana. Maybe it's Montana. Beef guy, beef baron, or, cattle man, and Kevin Costner, who's trying to protect or hold down. You know what the funny thing is? And I'm rambling a little bit. It's almost, once you get into it, it's almost like watching Lucius Lyons on Empire. I have to admit, I checked out Empire for like 2 years before moving on. But it's almost like Kevin Costner is Lucius Lyons, an equivalent, and then he has 3 sons and kind of a 4th son who's more his muscle or his main hand or foreman on his ranch. But it's a dope show though, man. I like the feel of it. I like most of the storylines going on in it. I would recommend it. I'd strongly recommend it. I'm looking forward to checking out season 2, the premiere. I'm gonna check that out tonight. Excuse me. So again, sports ain't working for you. If your team is picking, outside of the draft tonight, there's don't fret. There are other things in life to enjoy. There are other things out here to fill your time and, take care of your enthusiasm, your interests, and your passions. It's other things. Don't get too flustered with bad performing sports teams and whatnot. Again, sorry for making this thing so long. For anybody that hung around this long, sorry. But again, man, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. I'm Wood. Come back and check me out.